All right. Well, happy holidays, everyone. It's the week between Christmas and New Year's, and we are looking at my very dirty, I'm embarrassed to show it, 1991 Eagle Talon Turbo. It is all-wheel drive. Used to be a pretty hot car back in the day, and in fact, I competitively raced this car for 3 or 4 years back in the early 2000s. It did pretty well. My best drag race time was 11.4 and 128 miles an hour. It's pretty fast. Back then I got kicked out because I didn't have a roll cage. And you can see it's in sad shape. It's got a lot of moss. I haven't driven this car in a year. But I wanted to just kind of show what it looked like before I cleaned it up. I accidentally left the window down. Right here, I left this window down about an inch and I didn't realize it, so I had a winter's worth of water on the passenger side floorboard. I got that all cleaned up and vacuumed out. It looks pretty good. And I was having a water leak in the back and I didn't know where, so I took the spoiler off and I think I got it figured out. I think it was leaking around one of these clips. It's not wet back there anymore, so I've got to put the spoiler back on. And the other thing that sidelined this car about a year ago is the rear brake caliper is stuck. I just put new ones on last night and I drove it home for the first time. Oh wow, my tires are starting to crack. See that? They're pretty old. Wow, look at that. It got some dry rot. I'm gonna take care of that. It's my old girl. I don't drive her enough, but I did get the permanent registration plates on it, so I don't have to go through DEQ, and I don't drive it very much, maybe 100 miles a year now. But I just kind of wanted to show it off. Again, this car was pretty fast back in the day. I have all my gauges here. Key out, I can show you. Apexi SAFC that controls my 680cc injectors. Whoops. I have a boost gauge, of course, and I max that boost gauge out. This turbo will do 35 pounds. I have an exhaust temperature gauge, which I do not use much. Used to be an old-fashioned way of tuning. And then I have a PLX wideband, which I use a lot. And then down here, this little guy right here is my methanol injector. I have the Alky Control Progressive Methanol. And then Performance ECU. I'm going to pop the hood for you here. Show you what it looks like underneath. It's dirty, but I know there's some guys that really want to see it. Okay, let me get the prop rod up. There we go. So what we have here is a 2-liter dual overhead cam 4G63 motor. I've converted it to the meth translator, like a Chevrolet LT1, I believe. There is the translator that works with the mass airflow sensor. And a big turbo. It's a Garrett. It's a Force Performance 30... I'm sorry, I forget the numbers now. It's ball bearing 52, 55, or 35, 52. I think that's it. I think it's a 35, 52. It's a pretty big turbo. Stock cams, 3.5 inch exhaust. I have the blow-off valve just venting to atmosphere. But like I said, it runs pretty good. My fastest time again was 11.4 at 128. Oh, I have a pretty stealthy front mount intercooler. Done a lot of work to this thing. And it runs really well. Bent a rod at one point in time, so I did replace the rods with some Eagle rods. I think they're Eagle H-beams, but use the factory pistons, and like I said, run a lot of meth and a lot of fuel, and it makes a lot of power. So we're going to see if we can clean this old girl up and start driving it daily a little bit more. It's a great winter car, and yeah, that's a lot of fun. You don't see these much anymore. You can see my stickers are all faded. 1991 Eagle Talon TSI.